The main purpose of all of the children coming to the ashram during the Christmas and New Year's holidays was so that all the children could actually experience what ashram life was. Every morning they attended the Guru Gita, followed by breakfast, and then they had their Hatha Yoga session every day, which was taught by Kiran. And Kiran is one of the Vidyarthis who lives here in Haridwar, and he's actually a student, and his teacher had taught the Hatha Yoga class last year, and since he was unable to come, this year Guruji said to Kiran, why don't you teach it? And Kiran's actually a very shy boy who does all the puja and rituals, and it was a great blossoming factor for him, and to watch him actually open up and be with the children and participate in such a loving and human way.
A team or B team ऐसा करें. ऐसा करना.
परंतु कम से कम जिस शहर में आप रहते हो, जिस नगर में आप रहते हो.
In the evening, the satsang would start around 4:30, and it would go for about 2 or 3 hours. And during the satsang, he would ask them to repeat it back. What did you actually gain from this particular satsang? And they would stand up and they would say, "Oh, I got this," or "I got that."
स्कूल के बाद.
After the evening satsang, after we had dinner, there would be about an hour, hour and a half visit with all the children, and they would one after the other just sprout up and say, "Oh, I'm going to do a bhajan next." To the point where every day they would say, "Divyani, can I sing my bhajan tonight? Can I do my bhajan tonight?"
तेरी ये ज़मीन, तेरा आसमान, तू बड़ा मेहरबान, तू बख्शिश कर.
We did have a Christmas tree here, by the way, and we'd have the carols and he would pass out prasad. So this continued for about 5 to 6 evenings, and it was absolutely wonderful, absolutely joyous, full of love, full of devotion, and we were just ecstatic from the moment we woke up till the moment we went to sleep. We went for an outing to a beautiful place about 40 kilometers beyond Rishikesh, which was up at the foothills of the Himalayas. And when we got up there, it was absolutely exquisite. We all walked down this little trail all the way down to the Ganga, and we all sat with Guruji, and then Guruji immediately had them start opening these little mithai boxes and passing out sweets to everyone. We had a wonderful, beautiful, peaceful trip. And from there, we went straight down through Rishikesh. We went around the Lakshman Jula Bridge. We took everybody over that, went out for chai, and then we returned back to the ashram.
First of all, good evening and welcome, almost good night, and welcome.
Last night, we had the conclusion of the children's retreat. And in that, we decided that we were going to have an award ceremony, because at the beginning of the retreat, Guruji had given the children this challenge about memorizing as many shlokas or verses of Bhaja Govindam as they could. So we decided to have a competition.
For memory, the number of shlokas you memorized.
I'll mainly be just looking for your smiles. When they came up, each one of them stood in front of the microphone and they would do their little presentation of Bhaja Govindam.
Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudamate. Samprapte sannite marane, nahi nahi rachati rudru karane. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudamate. 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 Agre vani prushte vanu, ratrochi bulat samas pitajanu, karutala bhiksha, tarutala vasa, tadapi namucha, tyasha pasha, Bhaja Govindam.
बीच में बोले ना या हुआ तो भी हाँ
Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudamate. Govindam, Bhaja Mudamate.
चल चल बोलो आ जाओ एक मिनट रवि एक मिनट कार्तिक एक मिनट चौकी दे दो चौकी एक मिनट चौकी पे खड़े हो जाओ भाई हाँ हेल बोलो भज गोविंदम भज गोविंदम गोविंदम भज मूढ़मते भज नहीं चलो ठीक है ओए देख के ओए Those who have been here for the full duration of the retreat of this shibir will receive a certificate, just so that when they go home they can look at it and remind themselves of what they did during these 9 days, other than playing cricket and going swimming and going on a picnic like we did yesterday. What is it that we really did from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day, and hopefully make it a part of their life, part of their daily schedule as they go back home. And that is really the most important bit. As I sat here, especially today, I was reminded of the time with Baba in Miami in 1980-81, when he made me learn the 700 verses by heart, memorized, of the Bhagavad Gita. And it was not an easy task. I had 6 months. Of course, I was not given a time period, but every day he would come and say, how many? And there was no formal testing as we had here today, except one day about 6-8 months later, right in the middle of his talk, and he looked at me and said, that verse from the Bhagavad Gita. And of course the first thought was, which that? And he was giving a talk, and I just stopped any thought from arising in the mind, and immediately from within came Pashwan Shunwan Spashan Jignan Asnan. It is one of the hardest verses in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 5th chapter. I didn't even know that I had it by memory, and it came out, and Baba looked and said, Bahut acha, used the verse and went on with his talk. I didn't receive a certificate, but from within, the fact that Baba didn't yell, Baba did not get mad or angry, and was pleased that I said the right verse and that I also knew it. I knew that at least I was going along on the right path.
The highlight of the event was when Guruji acknowledged each child for his or her participation in the retreat. And he did this in a way where we had these little certificates, and on the certificates there was a beautiful quote at the bottom of the paper where it said, "When you are filled with this peace, those around you also benefit. When it begins in you, it also begins in others." Sky of the Heart, Bhagavan Nityananda. And when each child came up in front of Guruji and pranamed, and he would put this mala over each one of the children, it was really moving to watch that, and many of us were sitting there with tears in our eyes. And as he did this, each child bowed forward and he would sign each of the certificates, Mahamandaleshwar Swami Nityananda. We had all decided that we would like to have a bandara for the Samaj. Usually when a Mahamandaleshwar comes or leaves Haridwar during that period, it's almost a way for all of the other sadhus or Mahamandaleshwars in the Samaj to know that this Mahamandaleshwar has returned back to his home or is now leaving for some kind of a tour. So we decided to have a bandara, and we invited all the sadhus, and also we thought that because of the Western New Year, as well as the ending of the children's retreat, this could be a nice finale for our whole visit to Haridwar. So, as always, around 11:45, 12 o'clock, all the sadhus started arriving. And so that completed our children's retreat.
Rajani